Hi guys, hope everyone is here. Thanks for joining in for another live show with Q&A, and I hope to be able to answer some of the questions that everybody could have. This is sort of my monthly get together and chat with my subscribers and everybody else, not just subscribers, I guess, everybody else, and questions that you guys could have, and I'll be able to answer. Of course, it all relates to uh, music and audio production. And yeah, well, if you've just joined in, thanks for joining in. And also, don't forget to share this as well so that everybody else can enjoy and join in with the live Q&A. I'll be here for about an hour and talking about music production, audio production, recording, and as well as answering your questions. So thanks for joining in. We'll start in about a minute or so, maybe just that. And let me know how you've been going as well. How things been with you? Have you been recording any music? With the pandemic going on, there's well, personally, mine has been a bit slow. I had a couple of clients coming in now that some of the restrictions have been lifted. I could actually have some clients coming in. If you are doing some production, how are you going? Or are you creating music yourself? So I hope you guys could let me know, and we can talk about that as well. It's pretty tough under the current economic conditions. Not many people have enough money because quite a few have lost their jobs. So a bit hard to make hobby or entertainment, pay for all those things. So I think that's what is happening these days as well. It's really tough times, but I guess good things are on the horizon. Things are opening up. For about nearly 6 months I had no customer come in here. All the projects was that I had to cancel, and now, only as I mentioned, only recently I had few customers come back and do some vocal takes. I still don't have enough sort of capacity for a full band. I may be able to fit here in the studio, I guess, 2 people at maximum. Because we still have to sort of keep that distancing. I'm just trying to be safe, obviously. And most of the clients are return customers, so I hate to see them having any issues because of coming in here. But, I'm taking all the precautions and making sure that it's all good. So, I'm not sure how many people have joined in at the moment. Feel free to comment in the live chat. I should be able to see the live chat coming in. And let me know how you've been going with the pandemic going on. Have you made any music, recorded any music? Yeah, please do share. And this is what it's all about. I try to put some time into live streaming, and a lot of the time I get good questions, and where I try to explain and that everybody gets the benefit of the answers. Yeah, don't be shy, say hello, because I'm only going to be here another 55 minutes. Let's see if there's any chats happening. Not at the moment. Yeah, it's all good. As far as changes in the studio, I will do a studio tour very soon because some of the rack gears have changed and moved around. I'm not sure if you've been here long enough, seen my recent videos. I no longer have my Studio Live 24 Series 3. I had to sell that due to financial restrictions. And I got back my original Behringer UFX 1604, which has been serving me quite well even up to today. So even recently, and it's a really fantastic unit. I hope they come up with something as good as this, with modern designs, maybe a little bit more features in there, but the features in there already are really great. I love this mixer. The sound quality, I truly enjoy it. The effects, the EQs, the audio routing. Of course, I've done about, I think, 7 or 8 part series on this mixer. Yes. And we have someone come and say hello. Vilified Freedom says hello. No recording, but I have been making a lot of beats. That's good. Yep. As long as you're keeping up to things. I guess these days making beats is becoming quite big as well. A lot of people are making beats, and there is also opportunity for hip-hop, rap, and all those things, for beats to be sold. Rappers are interested in beats. If they feel the vibe, they've got the right attitude, they've got the right things, you'll be able to sell them as well. So that's one thing you could do, and I hope that's something you're thinking of as well. Yeah. Of course, yeah, not many people have been recording, and only recently just started. A few of the other friends in the industry that I know with, again, home recording studios, they have just started taking sort of clients with, 1 or 2 people in their studio. But that will change. That will change for sure. That will change. Now, I'm just sort of thinking, this one's saying slow mode is on. So we are walking and chatting in a slow mode. I don't know why. I must have said something somewhere when I was setting it up on YouTube. It says send a message every 1 minute. Sorry. It's I don't know if that's you trying to communicate, and I think there's a delay of 1 minute. Oh well. I am sorry if you are replying. You want quick replies and things. Okay, let's see, what can we talk about? Some of the topics that I wanted to cover. One of my recent videos have been about collaboration, and I think that's now, I find it the next best thing to have people in here. And I already have set up collaboration online, recording and mixing collaboration with one of my other friends who has a home studio, and he records certain parts and allows me to mix and have my input, and I can add some things here as well. And using the satellite sessions, I've made 2 videos about it, and it's working out really well. Currently free, which is a good thing, and it allowed us to have about 24 tracks being shared, and we are constantly adding track here and there, and it's really great. Right in the dough, I'm using Studio One, he's using Cakewalk, and we don't feel anything. It's just right there. So I do my part and he gets his part. So it's working out well. If you haven't looked at that, I do have 2 videos on my channel. Make sure you watch them as well. It's really great tool especially these times where you can't get together in one room. You can certainly get together with there. We have Kunal saying hi there, hello, and welcome to the channel. I have to mention that for some reason I must have set some setting that there is slow mode on, but it's allowing people to send a message every minute. So if you can't reply, that's probably because of your some of the delays. And Kunal says, your video and guides on Behringer Q502 USBs have been very useful for me to buy it. I have to set up a zero delay method but missing the cable. Yes, it's a very thanks for that. Glad it helps. That video has been watched by over 350,000 views. That video, the zero latency one, which is unbelievable. I could not imagine myself when I made that video years ago that it will get that many views and over 2,000 something likes. It's really great that it is helping you out. But as far as the cable, it's just a simple RCA cable. You should be able to buy it even on eBay or anywhere. Any hi-fi shop or music shop should be able to sell you that one. It's just a trick that I've discovered as I was trying to do it, and one of my subscribers back then, many years ago, mentioned it to me, saying that if you connect this to there, it will work. So it's not 100% my idea, as I mentioned in that video as well, but it's definitely worthwhile, because I had other options in there. Glad it helps you out, Kunal, and glad to see you here as well. Of course, the now I have the Q802 USB, and that has other additional things in there. Again, the zero latency works, as well as it's got effects send and receive. I've recently done a video of how to add external effects module. So if you want to have a delay or reverb on your vocals or guitar, then you can actually use that method to get effects in. So glad that helped you out. If you are here and you've just joined, thanks for joining in. And I'm gonna be here for another 45 minutes or so, answering questions about audio, recording, mixing. Any questions you have, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy. I'll try to answer them. Again, I don't know everything and anything, but I'll try my best to answer to the best of my ability. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any music in the background. Yeah, and there's one of my songs in the background playing there that I recorded a few years back at the moment. Anyway, come on guys, if anybody got any questions. I know sometimes the timing that I have for my live streams are not the best times, but that's the time that suits me, because at the moment it's 7:15 at night on Saturday from Sydney, Australia. So some other parts of the world it's really either midnight or after midnight or just people just waking up. Yeah. Let me see. The other thing that I was going to talk about is processing vocals, whether using external hardware on the way in or processing it in within the DAW. And we have Robu Altman says hi and thank you for the content. Greets from Switzerland. My question is, Samplitide Pro X4 as a DAW good for rich and good sound? And secondly, Rode NT1 versus Warm Audio JR47. Thanks. Okay, a couple of questions there. I don't have Samplitide Pro X4. I do have Samplitude Studio, Music Studio 2021, which is the cut down version of Pro X5. And as far as reach good sound, it's all up to you, because most of the audio engines are quite transparent, so they don't add anything to it, so they don't make it anything different. There's only a few exceptions about that, and the only one I can think of, the audio engine that will introduce something else, is the Mix Bus by Harrison, the Mix Bus DAW, that adds some coloring that a lot of people say it adds that extra vibe in there. I do have Mix Bus 6, but I don't really use it that often. But as far as Samplitude, it's quite full on DAW. It has lots of features, but at the same time, I find it a little bit too heavy on the CPU as well, as you start adding more plugins, compared to, let's say, Studio One or Reaper, or even Cakewalk. Cakewalk does have some CPU usage, but I find Samplitude Music Studio, even the cut down version, adds a little bit more load on it. But as far as production suite, it's a full-on suite, so you can't really say reach and good sounding. And the second question about Rode NT1 versus Warm Audio, well, I can tell you about Rode NT1. I do have one sitting right behind there, but I don't have JR47 from Warm Audio, so I cannot really compare it and comment on that. As far as NT1 is concerned, it's always plugged in there, ready to go, patch into my mixer, so whenever I need to record something, idea, it's right there, records clean, crisp, bright, and it's a fantastic microphone. Actually, a lot of clients that I get, they try the NT1, they try the NT1A, or they try my AKG microphones, or my MXL microphones, or Shure microphones. They tend to like the NT1 a lot of the times. So that's all I can say about that one. Going on to the next question, Kunal says, do you have any guidance on using VST plugins on Linux? No. I have not set up any Linux system, let alone a DAW with it. I played around with Linux, like pretty much most people with computer would deal with Linux, but I have not set up any DAW, either Adur or Mixbus, or a few of the others available on Linux, or even Waveform. I think the problem I had initially trying to get jack audio to work, it's just too complicated for me. So I just let it as is. So I'm sorry, I can't help you there with that one. Volume FM says, hello from UK. It's 8:20 a.m. here. And good morning on top of the world. Right there from UK. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the show. Kunal says it is 1:45 p.m. in Bangalore, India. Welcome from there. I am using Samsung Q8X mic with the Q502 using for office calls and for learning video editing, production, unboxing, reviews using Kiden Live on Linux. Okay, well that's good to know. I'm not very familiar with the Q8X microphone, and as I said earlier, I'm not too familiar with Linux platforms, so I'm pretty sure the Q502 being USB class compliant, I don't I don't think Linux will have any problem detecting it and making it work. Glad to know. So that's really, really good. But I think for Linux, I'm not sure if you can use VST plugins. I think they have, I could be wrong here. I think they have a different extension or different name for the plugins on a Linux platform. I'm not sure they are interchangeable between Linux and Windows or Mac platforms for them. But again, maybe someone can correct me on that one, as I'm not really sure. Yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining. If you have just joined in, feel free to post your question on live chat, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. And if you are using Linux, Kunal, how long you been using Linux for audio production? What sort of issues did you have? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on that. I might at a later stage experiment again going with Linux and see what I can do. But at the moment I'm on Windows 10 platform, and it works well for me. All drivers, which is the main pain, trying to get drivers of any audio interfaces on Linux to work. But yeah, hopefully things change as Linux is changing. Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, what else we can talk about? Yeah, one of the questions I got recently on one of my channels was about setting the compressor level for vocals, and what's a good setting for vocal production. Now, about 90% of the time when I'm recording vocals, I actually have a mic pre that the microphone gets connected to, and I use a bit of compression on the way in to control some of the dynamics. And depending on the vocalist, if it's they singing too close to the mic or they're too quiet and needs to sing closer to the mic to get enough level up, to get rid of proximity effect, I might use some EQ to take out some of the boominess or the proximityness or the boxiness from their vocals on the way in. That actually helps to process in the DAW much better because you get a cleaner audio. And the settings that I use is that, again, depends from male to female, and also depends, of course, whether their voice is powerful voice or very soft voice. For, let's assume, the average vocal, male vocal, I tend to have my attack anywhere between 35 to 45 milliseconds. Not too fast. I know some people like it a bit faster, but I don't like it too fast because I actually like to keep the initial transient going through. So 35 to 45, and you can experiment all the way up to 55 milliseconds, 60 milliseconds with the vocalist, so that you're not clamping it. You got to make sure that you don't hear the compression, you don't hear the attack coming in. And for the release, I normally set it to the fastest that my mic pre has, because I want to release it very quickly. I don't want to clamp it too far down. I just want to take care of that gentle peaks, so to say. And as far as the ratio, my ratio is about 3.5. For loud vocalist, I might go all the way to 4.5 to 1 ratio. Gentle vocals, 3.5 is really good, because again, you want gentle compression because you are recording with it and you are stuck with it after that. And what that does is that, especially going into your audio interface, even though the audio interface might have good dynamic, that it can capture, especially now 24 bits of dynamic range. It's not a problem. But again, you're trying to avoid that all of a sudden loud picks that might come in with the vocal. And that's all you're trying to do is capture that. Because you can do processing, more processing in your DAW. And as far as number of decibels of gain reduction, it can vary again. Soft vocals, probably about anywhere between -8 to -12 dB of gain reduction. Because I want their voice, which is soft, to really come up, reduce the dynamic range as much as I can on the way in. And for loud vocals, it'll be maybe no more than probably -6 dB of gain reduction when it's really loud as they're getting louder. A lot of the time, majority of the time, especially for verses, the needle would hardly be moving, probably maybe 1 or 2 dB at most. And then as the chorus comes in, as the loud part comes in, that needle tend to slam, -12 dB. Don't be scared. Try that. Make sure you are trying that with the vocalist as well as you're recording, or even if you are recording your own, and see how it feels. Make sure you don't hear the compression. That's the most important thing. And do a small adjustment here and there with the attack and the ratio and the threshold to get that sort of gain reduction. And of course, you can use the makeup gain to give a little bit of maybe 3 dB or 6 dB of gain, depending how much you are reducing. Usually about 3 dB of makeup gain is sufficient to control that. So that's on the way in. And then once you've got it in your DAW, it becomes really easy. A lot of the time, the vocal processing chain in my DAW, I might have maybe 2 more compressors, a de-esser, and just 1 EQ, and it will sound really great. And if I want really upfront, I might add another bus compressor on my vocal bus to give that really more compressed version. But a lot of the time I don't have to. So that's how I work. And for my mic pre, I use the PreSonus Studio Channel mic pre, which has tube saturation in there. It's got a compressor as well as 3-band EQ. And I've been using it for years and years now, probably 4 or 5 years, as my main mic for vocals. And it hasn't given me any issues, touch wood, and it works really, really great. I love the sound of it. I do have another mic pre, the ART, what's it called? ART tube mic pre, which has a whole heap more options. You can even turn on the tube voltage high to really get that saturated and gritty sound in there. But for clean sounds, I prefer the PreSonus Studio Channel as my mic pre. Probably for rock and or heavy rock vocals, gritty vocals, I tend to use the ART. Yeah. Again, would you need a mic pre? Not really, but you can certainly see the benefits of it. There's no point of getting a mic pre if you don't have a good audio interface. So if you're thinking of upgrading, probably better to upgrade your audio interface so you got more channels coming in, or higher quality converters, and then you can add your mic pre to that to help you out with that additional processing. I hope that information helping you out, because a lot of the time I get so many questions about vocal recording, and here in my studio, about 80% of my clients come in to record vocals. The backing tracks are or the multi-tracks are recorded elsewhere by the band or by a music producer, and they come in here. They give me USB of the backing track, or stems of the buses, so I can mix it a little bit more, so the vocalist is more comfortable. So that if we need to turn the guitars down, we can turn the guitars down, or the bass and whatever. And they just do vocal takes here, and those vocal takes get edited, processed, and sent back for mixing and mastering. If I'm not doing the mixing and mastering, of course, because I only do one or the other. I don't do both. If I'm mixing, I don't master. If I've got mix, I'll do mastering. Very rarely I would do mixing and mastering, but I leave enough time in between, couple of weeks in between, so my ears are not tired from the mixing. Yeah, so that's why I have my mic pre. But for a long time, I just connected directly to a mixer, USB mixer that I used to use, and then audio interfaces and so on. So you don't really need to purchase one, but if you're thinking of upgrading, that's the next thing you probably should upgrade. Of course, don't expect miracles. It's all about knowing your gear and using it the way to enhance what you already have, the good knowledge and understanding and good quality mic coming in. So that's all about I want to say today about mic pre's. Of course, the same thing goes with microphones. You got to make sure that you get quality microphones. Quality microphones are quite affordable these days as well. Save up. Don't spend, $40, $50, or even $100 on a microphone for recording. Aim for somewhere about $200 for a good quality microphone that will last you for a long time, that is versatile, and you can use it to record many things. Like Rode NT1, versatile microphone. Use it for virtually anything. I use it mainly for vocals. I can use it for guitar cabinets. I've used it for violins, flute, clarinet, all those things, and it captures really, really well. So, or you can also go, the cheaper sort of versions of things like the MXL, cheaper microphones, still good enough, that I've reviewed on my channel many years ago. So yeah, spend your money on quality, because you will get what you pay for. The audio sound doctor. Hello. Hi, Doc. How are you? Says, hello from Kosovo. I use Blue Baby Bottle and Rode NT1 with Focusrite Platinum Voice Master and Focusrite 6i6. My DAW of choice is Cakewalk by BandLab. Even I own Studio One Pro 5 and Cubase Pro. Yeah, well, there you go. That's a really great combination. Blue Baby Bottle, and which is, the same sort of in par with NT1 or thereabouts, a bit more expensive, maybe $50 or $100 more. But that's all you really need. And you've got the Focusrite 6i6, again, quality converters, preamps on the Focusrite 6i6. Cakewalk, free, why not? And then you've got Studio One and Cubase Pro as well. So you've got all nice setup there, and you should be able to make any music. Any music. Doesn't matter what genre of music, you should be able to make that with all just those. You don't need anything else. So you'll be all good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing Audio Sound Doctor, that information. Kunal Vidya says, I use Linux for daily work, personal use. and for a year now with the Q502 for audio. A beginner in this world. High quality parts in the recording chain really are important. Software can't fix everything. That is correct. Yes. So I think it was last year sometime, one of my live shows, I did I had a topic saying, it's what you put in, what you get out. You know, you put shit in, you get shit out. So you got to make sure that you get good quality in, because don't ever think of fixing it later. I go, yeah, I can fix that in my DAW. You know, you can get, Isotopes RX, and we can get rid of all the noise and get Isotope RX and fix up all this and that. Yeah, don't think of it that way. You'd be better off investing in a higher quality microphone, mic pre, audio interface, then you're good to go. Just save your money and get it, so it's much, much better. The villain of the story says, where would you add saturation in a vocal chain? Does adding saturation after subtraction EQ help fill the subtraction EQ gaps? I normally have my saturation at the end of the chain, before the last compressor, so I can have a little bit more control. But you can really place it anywhere you like. But the way I look at an audio and how I shape my audio is, I like to clean everything first with an EQ, and then compress it, and then another EQ to add all the parts that the compressor took off, then do an DS, and then maybe after that I might add saturation if I need to add that the upper harmonics, so you get nice full gritty sound. And saturation will also make the vocal louder as well. So that's where I would put it. And sometimes I would put it on the vocal bus rather than on the vocal channel. That way I can control the saturation of all the vocals that's coming in. If I'm doubling the vocal, or if I've got the harmonies coming in as well, I might put in the bus and do a little bit of very gentle soft saturation there to glue everything together, especially if you got multiple voices there. So that's where I would put that in. Kunal says, I have started with other entry-level USB mic before Q502 with good XLR mic. As you said, USB class devices, so they work. Not sure at their highest quality though with default drivers. Well, and continues on saying, Audacity for removing noise from recorded sound. Tried OBS, but even the free Linux plugins have issues. Primarily wanted to play with compressors, hence choice of this Q502 interface. Now, with the Q502, it's not the best USB converter. I've tested that, and compared to, let's say, Presonus or Focusrite or Ident or any of those sort of mid-level home studio interfaces, Q502 is right at the bottom. It's a good entry point, but you're not going to get good quality. I think the dynamic ranges from memory is about 78, 79 dB. So that's not really clear. Where else, Presonus 1824 that I have has a dynamic range of about 123, 124. So that's what cleanliness you're looking at. But sure, for the basic production that you are doing, to what I've read, just audio video production, I guess it works really well. Yeah, especially on Linux platform, where you don't even need any drivers for class compliant ones. And he continues, Caden Live for video editing, audio track cleaned with Audacity. Have not tried specialty DAW softwares though. Motu M2 may be the upgrade part choice for me. What do you think? Yes, the Moto M2 is not bad. I think another one which I have seen and the specs are really good is uh, the M Audio one that's coming up. It's quite cheap and it's got good converters in them and clean preamps. I think there's a single channel and a dual channel one. Um, I can't remember their model number at the moment, but that's another option. But Moto M2 for sure, yes, definitely. It would be definitely a good upgrade from Q502. Yeah. Okay. How's everybody going? I hope everyone's enjoying my comment and the information I'm passing on. I hope they are helpful. And if you have just joined in or recently joined in, welcome and don't be shy to ask any questions because I'm here for another 18 minutes answering anything related to audio for live Q&A for the month of February. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Where are we? And yeah, while we're at it, why don't we listen to a song that I've recorded, I think, a couple of years ago. This is En Mi Corazon. Okay, hope you enjoyed that one. That was En Mi Corazon by Diamond J that I recorded a couple of years ago. And question, well, sort of a question. Kunal says, thanks for your comments and replies. You're most welcome. How much importance do you give to the quality of headphone out so they can be used as headphone amp as well? Good question. It's very important for audio interfaces to have a good quality, high level headphone output. Matter of fact, there's a video that's just being uploaded that I just made recently, and it's being uploaded, and all about headphone direct monitoring of microphones on audio interfaces. So make sure if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and hit that bell as well, ping, so you get to see that video, and where I actually talk about the headphone amplifiers and how um, important it is. Even at high quality audio interfaces, the headphone outputs are lacking. So yeah, it's really important that you got to make sure that if you are using the headphone output of your audio interface, it matches with your headphone and it's loud enough, especially when you are doing direct monitoring um, of your vocals. So if you are recording vocals and you want to hear yourself directly on the headphones, which most audio interfaces do, that you get good sound, good audio level on your headphones, so you can control uh, your performance, or the if you are recording someone else, that they can perform well. So yes, it definitely is important. But watch out for that video coming up. Most likely about tomorrow. It'll be uploaded. Just about finishing up editing, and it will upload it after this live stream, so you can watch that. And yeah, I mean, headphones are another thing that you need to make sure that they are comfortable and you can hear them loud enough without distortion, and they don't blast your ears. They don't give you ear fatigue as well. And As far as mixing in them, I don't really mix in headphones. I always use speakers to do my mixes, and just use headphones for um, just a quick check to see everything I've got in a headphone correct as well. Because a lot of people these days, they're just listening everything on earbuds. So you got to make sure that you got that right as well, and there's no issues with the headphones. Other than that, I use speakers. But if you don't have the room for speakers, then investing in a good headphone, semi-open headphone, is probably best choice. I know a lot of people would say if you are recording vocals, you need closed ear headphones. That's only good if you want to buy two headphones, one closed ear, one open. But if you want one headphone, make sure they are semi-open. Don't worry about bleed into the microphone as you are recording. That's not a problem. But you really need open end headphones, at least semi-open end headphones, when you are mixing with headphones, and that's your only choice. Let's say you're mixing in your room in the middle of the night. You don't want to wake up the rest of the family. You've got headphones on, and it works well. Semi-open headphones are really great, like the AKG 241. I think it's 241 or 240. AKG 240 Mac 2 is what I have, what I use. It's really, really great. Closed ones are good, as I said, if you have multiple headphones. Hello, Menki. Menki asks a question. Do you think all DAW sound the same? 90% of them sound the same, because most of them have the same audio engine, or they work the same way in as far as the audio engine concerned. I answered this a little bit earlier today as well. There are very few DAWs that introduce something else, like some character in them. But otherwise, a true DAW needs to have a good DAW, I should say, should have a true transparent audio engine. And a lot of people, I believe, have done tests, whether comparing in Cubase, Pro Tools, and Reaper, 3 DAWs. The same audio was compared, being mixed and exported and null tested, and they all nulled out. That means there were nothing extra introduced by the audio engine. So choosing a DAW, and I think that's where the questions will be leading to, choosing your DAW is about the workflow, how you feel using that DAW. There are a lot of DAWs like FL Studio that I own, but I don't use because that's not my flow. FL Studio is really great for electronic music production. Sure, you can do everything else as well, but more aimed, the workflow is more aimed for electronic music production, MIDI controllers and all of those things. Fantastic for that. Where Studio One, you can do all of that, but it's more aimed for live recording. Same with Reaper, it's more aimed for live recording, but there's nothing stopping you using as for EDM production or electronic music production, because they all handle MIDI very well. It's all about how you feel, what you get used to as you're using the DAW. Same with Cubase or Cakewalk. They all have their own workflow, and you just try them all. Most of them have trial editions. You can try them all and see which one fits your workflow of the music that you're creating, the genre of music you're creating, and just take it from there. Michael says, when I see quality vocals on Spectrum Analyzer, several narrow frequencies leap out similar looking to comp filtering. How is this achieved? Let me read that question again. When I see quality vocals on Spectrum Analyzer, several narrow frequencies leap out similar looking to comp filtering. Well, the only if you're talking about certain frequencies as the vocal is happening, vocal is going through, you can see peaks coming up. Um it could be um, on purpose and to add certain characteristics of the vocal to make it sound something more powerful. Saturation, it could be saturation that they're adding, or even automated EQ that changes and enhances that part of the word that the vocal is singing to enhance it and to make it sort of stand out. Well, I'm already losing my voice. So make it all stand out. So it could be filter automation or EQ automation or even saturation that comes and goes that can enhance that part of the vocal word that it's going into. That could be what you'll be seeing. So it's if it's not all there all the time, and you just see it in the spectrum coming up, and I hope you hear it as well, then it could be any one of those three. And automation is the key to get those things happening. Saturation, EQ, or filter. Hope that answered that question, Michael. Another 5 minutes, and before I lose my voice, we'll end the live stream for the month of February. I should also thank everybody that joined in today, and hope you gained enough information from my experiences of recording and mixing songs for many, many years. If you're not sure, my first recording that I did was in 1987. So that's when I started recording music. So back then, obviously, everything was tape, cassette, not the digital platform that we have. But just to give you an idea of how much information over the years, 30 something years that I've gained, and I'm happy to share them because sharing knowledge is for me it's important because you can take one information from me and then add your own understanding and make things easier and better for the next person. So everything progresses to the next level up. And so, yeah. And Great Zeus says, hello. Thoughts on new Waveform 11 update? I think it's the best one so far. I've got Waveform 11 Pro, but I haven't updated yet to the latest 11.5. I think it's the latest one. I haven't had the chance to update yet. I don't use Waveform as much, but I think it's definitely improved and gone a long way from Traction 4 or 3, I think, that I started many, many years ago. So it has now moved from, because Traction back then it had specific way of workflow and a lot of synth users, a lot of sound. I'm trying to get the right word. Sound creators or sound creation engineers that created sounds using synthesis really enjoyed and liked the workflow of Traction back then. And of course, now Waveform 11 has so much more improvement, and all of those polysynths that are in there, like the biotech and all of those, they are fantastic ways of creating sound. As sound creation modules. Yes, I can't. If that's your field, I cannot recommend it higher. It really has improved. CPU is quite low these days. The CPU load, um, to the fact that you can combine audio and MIDI on the same track and switch, and it automatically switches. It's just really great in that sense. Many features that all really good. Volume FM says, don't forget to check the bell. I had mine set to all, but YouTube changed that, so I missed a lot of your uploads. Ah, yes, yes. Please share information. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Um, I mean, I always wondered because I've got my channel had about nearly 25,000 subscribers, and whenever I upload a video, I tend to get about a couple hundred views, which is like 0.1% of my subscribers. Always wondered why not many people watching my videos. I thought it was because not relevant anymore. But I guess with YouTube, everything has changed with the bell and hit the bell and subscribe and so many options before you get notified. Yes, please do. Kunal says, please share information, tidbits from your early days on how analog world mixing was done. Actually, just recently I did do a video using my original 4-track cassette that I purchased back in 1994, 95 or thereabouts. And I still have it. That's my original one. I have a video. Just go to my channel, watch it, and I did get back to it and then show how things would have been done from there. But yeah, sure, definitely I could make more videos from the day gone. If that's what interests you, sure. And Great Zeus says, I know what you mean. I remember the old Traction 4 free version back in the 2015, 2016. It was so much different, and I'm glad that Traction listens for its fan base. Yes, I remember the time where there was no mixer, and everybody complained there is no mixer, but the mixer is like on the end of each channel. But people could not grasp the concept about it. They always wanted the mixer at the bottom so they could mix up and down rather than sideways, which is still there, but they just added the mixer because of that. Yes, they definitely have a good fan base. They listen. Few things that I mentioned to Traction, they've added and included in the later versions of Traction and now Waveform. Definitely. Just to finish things off, final couple comments. Volume FM says, the analog days were great. DAW and plugins are so much cheaper in the long run. Tape is and was so expensive. I love plugins and technology is fantastic. I've been subscribed to your channel for about 4 years. Wow, thank you, thank you. The bell thing has been changed a few times by YouTube. Yes, that's right. I never recorded on big multi-track tapes. I was there a couple sessions in a studio as a musician that was recorded on 16 track. Back then in a small studio that we recorded music. I'm a keyboard player. But personally myself, I never had the chance to record onto multi-track tapes. I have seen them, but never recorded because I skipped that part. By the time I got into recording, from being a musician into recording, cassette was the first thing I started with, and then straight from the cassette, it was onto computers. And believe it or not, I think Cakewalk was my first DAW, and then Samplitude was my follow-up one as an upgrade, and then the rest is history. So I don't have a personal experience with tape recorders. Um, so yeah, I guess they would be quite expensive. Um, but even these days, if you want to buy a cassette, just a normal cassette, that's expensive as well. They used to be, $3, $4 back 20 years ago. Now it's like, I think last time I paid about 12 or $13 for just a normal 60-minute cassette tape. And you can't even get them anyway. So they've gone back expensive again. Yep. Anyway, well, that's about it for today's live show. I like to personally thank again for everybody joining in today. And thank you for all your questions and your comments. And I hope my information about, which is a very common question, about vocal recording earlier today is helpful. And well, this video will be on replay. So even watching afterwards, you have any comments, feel free to comment below. And I do visit them, and I do try to answer every question that I get on all of my videos. So thank you for joining me in today. And again, make sure you are subscribed, and make sure that the bell is all, so you receive notification for all the videos that I upload. If not, head out to my channel and then just have a look at all the recent videos that I've done. If you haven't watched them, feel free to watch them if they interest you. So last question before we go from Menki. What is your DAW of choice? My choice is, at the moment, my main one is PreSonus Studio 1 version 5 Professional. That's what I use for all my main productions. But I also tend to use Cakewalk by BandLab. That's only because some clients, because it's free, some clients of mine do have it, and we can share the information and the setup and the project very, very easily. I do have many other DAWs, but that's my main one that I use. Well, thank you again so much, and thanks for joining, and I hope you have a great time making music, and I'll catch you in the next video and or the live show. See you guys.